basic is hard work. You have to work really hard. At the
Yeah.
same time, you should not be discouraged, even if you're not able to do something that you really want to do.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Humans of Mitti Ke Rang podcast. Today we have with us Mrs. Kevilinho Solo with us.
It's Miss, actually.
Okay, sorry, Miss
Yeah,
Kevilinho
no
Solo.
worries.
Sorry. Yeah. So, ma'am is working with the government of Nagaland in the Department of Municipal Affairs as a deputy director, and she has completed her bachelor's degree in architecture from Dr. D.Y. Patil College of Engineering and Technology, which is in Kolhapur in 2005. And in 2008, she went on to pursue her master's as in her post graduation in the Department of city planning with IIT Kharagpur in 2008. And she is someone who loves taking up challenges. She is a very strong, opinionated woman and extremely hardworking. And it's a privilege to have her on our show today. And just to let our audience know, she is the first speaker for our Northeast India Talk series that Mitti Ke Rang is starting. And I'm so proud to be the first host. And I'm so happy that Kevilinho ma'am is our first speaker. So, welcome to the show, ma'am, and it's a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
Yes. Ma'am, is there anything that you would like the audience to know about you as such, like a brief introduction of sorts, or anything that you think I didn't cover?
I think in a very short and brief message, but you have covered almost everything. I have nothing to add to it, but I would like to thank the humans of Mitti Ke Rang for giving me this opportunity and for having me. I feel privileged, to be your first person to be, for whom this podcast has been made. So I believe that people will be encouraged by whatever I share today.
Right.
So that's the message that I would like to have for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. And we're
You're
glad
welcome.
that you're our first speaker. And she's joined us in all the way from Nagaland. And
Yes.
so the first thing that I want to know from you, ma'am, is a little more about your family, about your, background with respect to your early education, your career, how did things turn up, and, everything on those lines.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Like like the majority of the Indians, I also hail from a lower middle class family, and we are eight siblings, in fact. So I was the second eldest.
Right.
So yeah, during our schooling days, my dad, he did not feel too well, so he wanted to quit his job. So and eventually he quitted his job. Now I and my sister, we our remaining parents and our aunts and uncles, they wanted us to get good education. So they put us into a Catholic convent school, which is called Little Flower School. So, which was a little far away from home. Of course, we didn't have during that time, when during our school days, we didn't have much public transport facility. We have school buses, which was very bad. So we stayed with our aunt, who stays closer to our school. So we used to stay with our aunt. So from 5th standard onwards till the 10th standard, we stayed with our aunt, and our aunt not only gave us a place to stay in her home, but she also financially supported me and my sister in completing our schooling. So in fact, we are indebted to her, and she did not marry. She is a spinster. Of course, she's in her 80s now. She was much elder. She is much elder to my dad.
Right.
So that's how I completed our schooling. And from the school days, in high school, I started developing an interest in mathematics. I just love playing with numbers. So that's how I end up, studying science. But when I got my pre-university, during that time, we didn't have this +2 system. We have this pre-university course. So when I joined in the only science college that is in Nagaland, Kohima Science College. So when I joined there, I took bio because my father thought that, being a doctor would be the best. So I had this in mind that I wanted to be a doctor, but I was never interested in biology. I was more interested in mathematics. So somehow I ended up taking bio as my main subject and maths as my fourth subject. But when I did my second year of pre-university,
Mhm.
I scored good marks in mathematics, but very poor marks in biology. But still, I was trying for medical entrance.
Okay.
So I was studying for that, but eventually I ended up giving both medical entrance exam at the same time, joint entrance exam for engineering.
Okay.
So I got through this joint entrance exam for engineering, and I took bachelor's of architecture as my first option, and I got that option.
Right.
But my dad, he had his, I don't know, but every parents wanted their kids to become doctors, first preference, then only engineers, at least out here in our state.
Yeah.
So I got through this entrance exam. I got this architecture seat. However, my dad was persistent that maybe I take another year's break, take some coaching classes and try again.
Right.
But my dad's younger brother, he insisted that, see, whatever you are getting, it's okay. Since it's a technical course or it's a professional course, you go ahead. So I was in a dilemma actually whether to go or not. But at the end, I just decided that, okay, fine, let me just go and try. And if, I can change. And after 1 year also, I can give for medical entrance again. But once I got into the college, I started liking it actually. I made a lot of friends, then the common interest, people with common interest coming together. And that's how I ended up doing architecture course. After that, I worked for a year,
Mhm.
but I was not satisfied. I wanted to do something more. So I heard about, planning, masters in city planning or masters in urban and rural planning. So I started pursuing for my GATE exam.
Right.
So in the first attempt of my GATE exam, actually I was not expecting to get through it, but somehow I got through it. So again, then that's how I landed up in IIT Kharagpur, did my master's degree. Then I was working in the private sector. So right after that, but like everybody back home, wanted me to come back. And for them, government service or government job is the most
Yeah.
secure job. At
Yeah.
least here in Nagaland, since we don't have much industries, we don't have any corporate companies, or we don't have MNCs,
Right.
uh, being a small town or being a very small state. So the most lucrative job becomes a government job where you have a secure job,
Yeah.
people respect you. And so that's how I landed up, I mean, here. Yeah. But looking back, there are no regrets. Of course, there were times when I really wanted to, move out of this place again, in one of the
Mhm.
metro cities and all. But now I'm satisfied and I'm working. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That is so amazing. So
Thank you.
I believe you're happy with what you're doing, and you've reached a very good place in your career. So I don't think now your parents would be having any problem with the decisions you made. Looking back.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah. Now that being an adult and, able to decide for myself,
Right.
now I also feel that, now after working for some years, getting to know what are the things that I can do being in this position,
Right.
and there's a long way to go. And I
Yeah.
can do a lot of things for my people, So thinking
Right.
about all this, I also decided maybe God has a plan of placing me here. That's how I look at it now. Yeah.
True, true. Because I think there a lot of responsibilities, power, and accountability comes with your position when you're working for the government, for the state government.
Actually, it does. It does. Yes, yes.
Right,
Though
right,
I'm in a very, considering the levels that I have to go ahead, God willing. But
right.
right now we are at the executive level, well, where we have to do so many things, field works, at the same time desk job also, but the ground works which we have to do. So it's a learning stage for us also. But this will really help us, the more work that we do, it help us to understand, and also dealing with people. There are lots of government schemes that we are facilitating to the people. So making sure that the right people get those benefits and all that. So the kind of satisfaction level that we get after getting to know the real nature of work,
Mhm.
it's satisfactory in a way. Yeah.
Right, right, ma'am. Right.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yes.
if I may ask you, your journey from being, a architect trainee, then moving on to being
Yes.
an urban planning manager, and now that
Yes.
you are a deputy director with the Municipal Affairs Department for the central government, state government of
State
Nagaland.
government.
Yeah,
Right.
state
Right. Right.
government of Nagaland. So,
Yes.
how were the three of them different from each other, and how has the journey of each one of them helped you move on to the next phase or the
Yes.
next job role?
Okay, actually, just being an architect, you end up designing houses for others, designing a building, a particular
Right.
structure.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting. It's artistic in nature, and you get to play with your minds, with your creativity, combining it with science in a bit way, because
Yeah.
you have to look at the site conditions, the climatic conditions, then
Right.
the soil stability. So there are lots of things that you can play around with.
Yeah.
So actually it was interesting, but at the same time, if you get stuck with something, of course, being an architect, we can do so many things, but my interest did not end there. I wanted to go beyond that, or maybe it's a detailed kind of job,
Yeah.
but for me, I wanted to, do something which is far beyond that. It does not even doesn't restrict to one thing itself. So when I heard, I was just browsing and getting to know what are the various courses that I can do after completing my B architecture. So after completing my B architecture, I worked for a year under a senior architect who is like a brother to me. So I got to learn a lot from him. So
Right.
I just appeared for my GATE exam, and once I got through it, I applied for IIT Roorkee and IIT Kharagpur. So I got through in both. But some people told me that IIT Roorkee you'll find difficult because of the food habits. You get only veg there in the hostel. So and then now being in West Bengal, it's closer to my hometown, so
Yeah.
it's easy to travel also.
Right.
So commuting, yeah. So that's how I ended up there. I got selected there. So when we went to study there, things were totally different. In city planning, you have to look at the city as a whole. In architecture, we look only at a particular building or the surrounding building.
Right.
But in planning, you not only have to look at the physical aspect, but also the economical and the social fabric also. So
Mm-hmm.
we study on how development management, infrastructure, the environment, human settlement, how it started. We also look at the economic aspects. How creating a city how a city should give jobs to the people for it to
Right.
sustain, then
Right.
sustainable development, and it was very vast actually. So it opened up, lots of opportunities. Like so now with architecture and with urban planning, I have two options.
Mhm.
I can go back to either architecture
Yeah.
consultancy jobs, or I can land up in a in a real estate job in a corporate world.
Yeah.
So, but after that, yeah, after completing a private firm, a consultancy firm contacted me if I wanted to join them. So when I was planning to sit for my campus interview,
Mhm.
I didn't sit for it actually. So
Okay.
I rather, before completing my course, I joined this firm because they were offering the same package that the companies which were coming into the campus were offering. So I
Okay.
joined them, and I was doing some, what do you call, site development plans for some universities, for
Wow.
colleges and all, then some housing complexes. So after working there, at the same time, since my parents wanted me to come back home,
Mm.
I got back home, but then this advertisement came out from the government sector, because for people like us, it's once in every 5 to 10 years that jobs comes out for that
Right.
particular course. Yes, yes.
Right.
Since it's a specialized post with the
Right.
specific designation.
Right.
So for that, in 2011, this post, two posts were advertised.
Mhm.
So I also applied, but I had no intention of coming back. Or at the same time, I was applying for Delhi Development Authority, and I was applying for this other PSU, public sector undertaking offices. So when I was called for the interview, my parents really forced me. They emotionally blackmailed me to come back. I was working in Delhi then. So I came and appeared for the interview, and I went back to Delhi. So after a month, the results came out. I wasn't expecting it, but somehow I got through it. So my parents started calling me. They even insisted that they'll send money for my flight tickets and all. So I said, no worries, I'll come back. So I quitted my job there in Delhi. I came back and took this service. Initially, when I joined, it was really boring, because in the um, cities you work for more hours, then there are lots of weekend activities that you can go around, recreational
Yeah.
activities, you hanging out in a mall, watching movies. There was nothing like that out here, in Kohima. No
Right.
malls, no cinemas, nothing. So, but the only time that you get is to be with your friend during weekends or in the offices also. Once you get to know people, once you learn to make friends, it's much more fun actually.
Yeah.
It becomes like a family. So then after the first 2 3 years, I was working, but I thought that, I'm just wasting myself. So I was looking out for more job opportunities. And at one point of time, I thought that teaching would be the best idea. So whenever I used to sit, in front of my computer, Googling for teaching faculty positions in colleges, and also I used to apply. And in a couple of colleges also, I went and gave interview like SPA Delhi and all, but I didn't get through.
Mm.
So somehow I continued, like this. And after the third year, I stopped applying for jobs also. I just started concentrating. And slowly more responsibilities were given to me, as a junior
Right.
officer. Like
Right.
most of the time, we have to do what senior officers give us. But now that time I joined in the Department of Urban Development. So that time we had only one department. Now in 2015, another department was created out from this urban development as municipal affairs. So this municipal affairs has got a very meager officers, like very less. So we were only 3 officers and we had to do everything in our own. So with the kind of responsibilities, and there were many central ministries mission programs that were coming, which we have to facilitate to the urban local bodies and also to the urban poor people. So working for them and getting to know them, getting to understand the problems of the people, and reaching out to them with all these benefits that the central government is coming with, slowly started to understand the meaning of being a government servant, and that's how I really started enjoying and
Right.
giving my 100% into it. Yeah,
Great. Great.
so that's how it is.
Yeah, that's very I mean very inspirational. That I believe once you start concentrating on your work and understand the intricacies of it, that's only when you can develop an interest, right? And it takes time. It cannot happen
Yes,
overnight. Yeah. Yeah.
yes, that's true.
Yeah. So, ma'am, can you tell us that now that you have been working with the government for about 9 years, so
Yes.
what is your vision moving forward? Like, what do you want to do with respect to not just your career? What do you want to do for the society? Because you have that privilege and that power to actually make a difference. So, what's the kind of vision that you have as of now? And another thing is, I would like to know who is your role model.
Yeah, actually, yes, I envision to see at least if not my state, and my city, to be a well-planned city, which can
Right.
generate revenue, its own revenue, which can be sustainable by creating infrastructure and assets, that makes the city sustainable at the same time, where job opportunities can be created, where actually people have this mentality of depending on the government for aids, for grants and everything. But
Mhm.
a time has come, where everybody can stand on their feet, do something, instead of just depending on one another, but be independent, do the least that we can do. So I
Right.
believe that, like everybody cannot become the head. If in a human body, imagine if everything is the head, then who will do the, there are no hands, no feet. So I feel that every job, be it small as a sweeper, a peon, or anything like that, it's equally important. So I feel that everybody should understand their role and take their role and their capacity seriously and do their part. Which and also everybody should, yeah, of course, equal treatment for everyone, equal opportunities. But again, it depends, on what kind of level that you can work, like under what capacity you can serve, the society, or for that matter, earning a livelihood, whatever you can do, instead of just asking around, but setting up your own thing, being satisfied, the joy, the satisfaction that comes, in earning your own livelihood. And I also dream that, we being a hill town, or for that matter, a tribal society, we
Right.
may not require whatever we see in the mega cities. but whatever is right, sometimes working the government sector, it's very difficult, because decision makings, policy makers and all are above us. We are the executive, the technocrats. We have bureaucrats above us, above that politicians. So for them to make them understand and for the betterment, often though we feel that our service are not taken into consideration, because the decisions are made by the higher authorities and
Right.
then it trickles down. Whereas in reality, it should be the trickle up effect. From low,
Yeah, it's going
suggestions
up.
should come up, from below. Then again, which has to be viewed by the upper authorities. Then execution like that. So I feel that one day our states also will have leaders who will be able to hear the opinion or the views of the experts who have spent so many years in studying, and to make our place a better living place, and improving the quality of life of people,
Right.
giving opportunities for them to live.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what I envisioned. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd asked you that who is your role model? I would like to know that. Like, who do you look up to?
Yeah, as such, with the passage of years and all, it keeps changing.
Yeah.
Like we used to look up at yeah, at a point of time, I was like, I really wanted to be like Mother Teresa, that our father of all nations, Mahatma Gandhi, like that. But now, as I look back, actually, it's not. I mean, I feel that God, God, God is something that loves you unconditionally. I feel that, whenever I need anything, I'm in trouble, I always pray, and God has always answered my prayer. So I've reached at such a level that I don't look up at humans. Of course, I look up at them, I get encouraged by their deeds, by their words. But as such, I don't look up to anyone as a role model as of now. Not anymore, I guess. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I personally feel. Yeah.
No, it's completely your point of view, and this is something very new. At least I'm listening to it for the first time, but it's so true. But I mean, the only person who you should look up to, or maybe other than your family members, is God, because in the end He's guiding
Yeah,
us all, and He's always there with us.
exactly.
Right,
That's
right.
true.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
a very good thought that way. And
Thank you.
yeah, I would like to know, ma'am, before we move towards the end of the podcast, what is
Sure.
the advice that you have for the youth or for people who are trying to do something similar to you, want to get into the state government or contribute to the society in some way and make an impact?
Hmm. Yeah. It's yes, of course, it's basic is hard work, You have to work really hard.
Yeah,
At the same time, you should not be discouraged, even if you're not able to do something that you really want to, because likewise, God might have wanted you to be somewhere else. So you should leave your options open, like you want to be somewhere else, but maybe you're not best fitted there, or it depends from person to person, however. So
yeah,
if you are really interested in something and you want to pursue there, and you see that you are going to be successful in that, I should just say go ahead with it. But you want to do something where your interest or your abilities are telling you that no, you are not going to be successful in that area, then you should not pursue. However, this some years or maybe some decades ago, even in our state, or especially in the northeast states, where the private sector is not booming at all,
right,
because we have lots of issues.
yeah,
So government sector, government jobs are the most lucrative ones. So everybody eye for that, or for that matter, every parent's dream is that one of their kids should get into the government sector. But that trend is changing. The government cannot sustain anymore,
any,
in paying salaries, because at present also we have excess government servants, or you say we have government staffs, where some are performing, some are not performing. But
right,
it has reached to such a level where people should look at the diverse opportunities, like entrepreneurship is a new concept
yeah,
out here. But that's the way where you become your own boss. You get to do what you want to do. You don't have to apply for leave to get holidays. So
right,
there are lots of advantages and disadvantages or maybe the pros and cons of being in the government or in the private. And there are this Northeast is very famous for music and arts, crafts, and also many people are excelling in the entertainment industry as well.
Right.
So I think people should explore, or not just limit to something, which is being oversaturated. So
Yeah.
I feel that it's time that the young generation should be ready to take risk, if they're really interested, and just strive or dive into it. And if you fail in one area, that's not the end of the world. There's always another option that you can always try again. So
Yeah.
that is what I would. That's the message that I would leave for our young people.
Oh, wow. That's so
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, because I believe because we have so many opportunities and avenues now which were not there maybe
Yes.
at your
Exactly.
time, at even before that we didn't have so many
Yes.
options. It was very restricted. You either become a doctor or you become an engineer, but it's diversified so much, and we have technology coming in and so many job opportunities that I believe the youth has a lot of options, and we must experiment and take risks, right?
Yes.
So yeah, that was
Yes.
very well
Yes.
said, ma'am. So coming to the end of the podcast, ma'am, could you please
Okay.
let our viewers know how they could get in touch with you post this podcast and reach out to you in case of any advice or help?
Okay, sure. I have my social media accounts, but unfortunately, I'm not very active there, except my own personal interest that I keep uploading. So I have a Facebook account by the name Kiwi Solo. I also have a Twitter account. I also have an Instagram account. Then yeah, so but usually I don't post my official works and all that because sometimes
Right.
confidentiality matters and all.
Yeah.
But if anybody wants to get in touch with me, they can leave a message in any of my social media pages like LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
that's how you came in
That's
contact with
how
me.
yeah, right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
in Facebook or anything, or I think in some of my pages I've given my contact number also. So
Right. Right.
you can get in touch with me for any queries. You can email me.
Yeah.
Anybody can email, and I will make sure that I'll reply. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm sure that there'll be a lot of people who will be aspiring to get into the government sector or to get into serving the government in city planning and architecture. And I'm sure they'll reach out to you. I would like to thank you again for taking out your time and coming to the show and giving us insights. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Welcome, Daria. It was really nice, talking with you. Yeah.
Same here.
Thank you once
Ma'am.
again. Sure,
Thank you
sure.
so much. Thank you,
Okay.
everyone.
Yeah, thank you.